Let's discuss PTE Core fill in the blanks question. This one is the question where you have this text written and you have these options given. You got to put the suitable word in each blank that you see here. A lot of people get stuck here, so we'll discuss the easiest strategies you can use and how you can overcome your reading difficulties. This test right here is one of the many tests in our mock tests for PTE Core. You can find them in the course link in the description below. You can also see the shop link, which offers the PTE Core course. Not only does it include mock tests, but also it includes 15 hours of dedicated videos, all templates, all secrets you need to know to score a 90 point in all modules of the PTE Core exam. So check that out. For this part, let's talk about this question you have right here. And if you want, you can pause the video, take a screenshot, or just practice it with me and answer the questions before I do so you can know if you're doing it the right way. Okay, so the question is pretty clear. You have this text below. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fill in the blanks and you have to pick words from here. Okay. First of all, how you approach this, and then we'll talk about the 4 things that are going to be your friends. The way you approach this, first of all, is you can give a glance to this. Okay, you don't have to read everything, but just give a glance to the kind of words you have. Because a lot of times you look at a word and when you read it, you're like, oh, that's going to fit right there. So sometimes it's easy when you just give a look. It'll also give you an idea of what words they are the adjectives, nouns, etc. So sometimes when you read, you know that, like if I tell you the person was really gap something, so you know it's an adjective, really good, really evil, really mean, right? So you would know how to put things if an adjective comes up or a noun comes up. So give a glance to the words here, okay? Now, let's talk about skimming through the paragraph. No, don't do that. It takes time, it wastes time, and that's what you don't have in the PTE Core reading exam. You want to read it carefully, slowly, and understand it, and that is one of these strategies. Look, you got a question here, you got a question here, and there is no question here, and there is no question here. So there's a lot of places where there is nothing to read. But that's what the examiner wants you to think. That's what this test maker wants you to think. You need to read everything in order to get an idea of what the whole passage is about, because you will see in this task that we're going to do, if you don't understand the tone, the passage, the theme, you will get answers wrong. But that also means, again, we got to save time. So things where sentences like these, where answers are not included, just read them fast. We're just doing that to get the idea. When we come to the places where sentences have answers, we will read them slower. Now, the next thing is you want to predict the answer, okay? This question, so I have done this test before, and this was the question where I predicted what an answer could have gone here, and that was exactly the same word mentioned here. So have a look. Can you do it? Now, if you haven't done it already, I'm going to start with the answer. This part says the innovation has been hailed as a something for environmental conservation. Always read it like that, something, okay? So this helps you just understand the tone of the sentence. This innovation has been hailed as a something for environmental conservation. Now, whenever something like this is mentioned, it's hailed as, or it's a major, the thing they say right after that is breakthrough. And I know this just because I read stuff, all right? If you don't read, develop that habit to help yourself in this exam and many others for English. And breakthrough was a word that was mentioned. And again, this is just coming from prediction. I'm thinking, that might go in there. So this is fast. But sometimes, like with the first 4 answers, I wasn't able to do that. It's not that easy. And you still want to predict, because when you predict, you get to know the closest answers. If you don't get the exact answer, you will get the answers that are closer to what needs to go there. It just helps you narrow down your search all the more. The next thing is you want to look at, this is strategy number 3, you want to look at words around the blank. These are your friends, okay? Words around the blank will help you get the answer faster, because these are your keywords that they help you understand what's possibly going to go in the blank. The last thing, the 4th thing, is judgment, okay? So sometimes you are looking at all these things and you have 2 close options to put. Here, it comes down to a matter of judgment, and I'll show you this with this example on how that is very important, but We'll discuss that later because there's one question here that requires a lot of judgment. So we'll talk about judgment in a second. Now, let's start. You can read this first sentence. I'm going to go with the next one. Basically, this talks about the environment and revolutionizing it. This device harnesses the something of natural processes. All right, let me predict. Harnesses the power, harnesses the strength of natural processes. And look, the keywords are it harnesses something of natural processes. So it harnesses it, it uses something and makes it better, most likely, to do something. Okay, so let's have a look at our options. Efficiency. If you harness the efficiency and make it better, that's good. I mean, that could fit there. Harnesses the dynamics of natural processes, that could work too. Like it's the current state of natural processes. We have done this one. Breakthrough is taken. You cannot harness kinetics. Kinetics, well, you can maybe. Kinetics is the movements. So maybe, yeah. All right, everything looks good so far. Harnesses the sign. We cannot harness any sign. The sign is different. You cannot use that and make it better. Harness the sunlight of natural processes. Processes don't have sunlight, only sun has sunlight. Harness the dirty, no. Adjectives won't go there because it's not a quality that we're describing. Harness the potential, very close. And harness the adaptation of natural processes. That could work too. Adaptation would work if we're talking about getting into a new environment, changing the course of the environment. Now, if I look at that, let me just rule that out. That is not mentioned here. Adaptation would have to do with going into something new and learning something new, which isn't mentioned. And harnesses the water of natural processes, again, it doesn't make sense too much. How can processes don't have water? Water is something else. Water is a liquid. It wouldn't go in every natural process. So I'm thinking words like these would be better because these are the things you can use from natural processes and make those better. So I got lots of options here. I'm confused. I don't know which one to use. Let me now continue reading, and this is what you want to do. Again, now we are reading the words around the blank to get a better idea. Okay, and the problem is you don't even have the next one, but still, let's just try to get an idea, okay? Converting something into clean, renewable energy. Okay, so I get the idea that we are harnessing something and then making it better or transforming it. That will help us to get the end product, which is renewable energy. So when we harness something, we would use the basic version of it or the starting point of it. And what I'm thinking is efficiency cannot be harnessed. Efficiency is you have good efficiency or bad efficiency. You cannot really use it. Dynamics are the normal workings. You cannot use normal workings and make them better. That's just, it looks like a day-to-day process. That doesn't make too much sense here. If you talk about the kinetics, very similar to dynamics, you cannot again use it and make it better. Remember, we're harnessing and making something better. The one I really like here is potential, and that's exactly how I thought when I started, and that is the correct answer. Potential is not 100%. You have potential to be a billionaire. You're not there yet, but you have the potential. Now you can harness that potential, you can use it and convert it and make it into something better. Okay, so that's just how you want to judge the questions and pick your answers using the words around it and what makes sense. Okay, we use the words around it, we use the prediction, and we use a little bit of judgment thinking, okay, this wouldn't work, but you can harness this. Yeah, that could lead to a potential result here. Great. Let's look at the next one. Converting something into renewable energy. Now you can convert power, things like sunlight, water, fuels, fossil fuels, right? And you got two things here, sunlight and water. They're the only two things that could possibly be converted into renewable energy. I tried to really answer this, but I was very divided and I said, I'm going to leave sunlight and water and come back to this later. Okay, so I don't know the answer yet. This is me when I did the test the first time. So let's move on. The core technology is based on advanced something mechanisms that mimic the something of the Earth's ecosystems. So the core technology is based on the advanced something mechanisms. What could go here? Advanced high-tech mechanisms. It should be an adjective or maybe a noun. Advanced, well, it's hard to predict really, but something advanced followed by an adjective or a noun. Let's see what fits here. Advanced efficiency mechanisms doesn't make sense. Efficiency could again be good or bad. Advanced dynamics mechanisms. No, dynamics is a noun, mechanisms is a noun, doesn't make sense. Breakthrough is done. Kinetics mechanisms, that could make sense. Mechanisms involves, again, a procedure. It's the mechanics, the logistics, the way it works. Kinetics is a process. So if you are using the mechanism of its kinetics, it could mimic that, produce something else. That makes more sense. Sign mechanisms doesn't make sense. These sunlight, water wouldn't go here. It's in the previous option. Dirty mechanisms, no. Potential is taken, and adaptation, again, no mention of change here. So we can confidently put kinetics mechanisms. That is just the way the mechanism works, that the way the kinetics work would be called a mechanism because it's a process. So we will put that here. That is the correct answer. Now that mimic the something of the Earth's ecosystem. Here we can actually predict a lot of things. Mimic the flow of the Earth's ecosystem, mimic the patterns of the Earth's ecosystem. Those are my predictions. And again, it mimics something. So it should be something related to the Earth's ecosystem. If we look at our options, let's see what makes most sense. The sign of the Earth's ecosystem. The ecosystems don't really have a sign. They would have signs. If it's plural, I would pay that more attention. Mimics the adaptation. No, we're not really changing anything. Mimics the potential. We have taken that. Mimics the efficiency and dynamics could be two really good options. Mimic the efficiency of the Earth's ecosystem. Now here's the confusion. If you put efficiency here, there's no mention before or after about the Earth's ecosystem having a good efficiency, bad efficiency. It's not talking about the Earth's ecosystem. It's talking about efficiency later, but not about the Earth. So we cannot comment on that. But if we say dynamics, that's a more neutral answer. And we can say mimics the dynamics of the Earth's ecosystems. It's very similar to what I predicted. I said the patterns of the Earth's ecosystem. It's similar to the prediction. It's a neutral option here, which is best to use since we don't have more information about the Earth's ecosystem, so we can't comment much on it. And dynamics is the correct answer. Okay, so you can see we're using our logic, looking at the words around the blanks, predicting, and looking at the options and getting the answer. Let's come back now to this part, converting something into clean renewable energy. This is the answer we were not able to get. This is either sunlight or water. Now, I read the whole thing too. I just glanced over everything to see if there's any indication of maybe a hydroelectric power plant that would indicate water, or something about the sunlight, which was not mentioned either. There's really nothing, and it's really hard. It's a coin toss. What do you guys think, sunlight or water? Well, the answer is sunlight, and why that would work. And I was thinking really hard, like what would make sense? What's the indication here? The indication is converting. You cannot convert water into renewable energy. We use the power of water to make energy, but we don't convert it. Sunlight, you convert. And again, not only are we using the keyword here, we're using our logic and judgment as well. This is from your thinking that, hey, we can convert water. We can convert sunlight into power. That word convert works better with sunlight, and hence that's the answer. So it's not just, again, well, if you ask me the two strategies, if you just say, what are the two best strategies? Predict, look at the keywords around it, okay? That's it. And that's what the best gurus are going to teach you. However, it's not just that. You have to really use your judgment, your skimming from the rest of it, from the rest of the information, get the concept, get the idea, and this strategy would change with every passage. In this one, the word that really helped me was converting. In this case with breakthrough, it was easy because the tone helped me. So every time it's going to be slightly different, but you want to analyze it just like I did. Think of what makes sense in that context, and it'll really help you out get the answer. Now, this is just a brief version of how this has to be done. If you want a more detailed explanation of this, as well as all reading parts and mock tests, check out our PTE Core course in the description. It is right now at a 20% discount too. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk very soon. Take care.